Good evening, basketball fans, and welcome to the Upstate Hoops podcast for Sunday, March 1st, 2015 on FingerLakes1.tv. I'm Jim Sinicropi here with a big show on tap as we take a look at the semifinals for sectionals and predict who will be in the big house next weekend for championship Saturday and Sunday at the Blue Cross Arena. And also tons of Wayne Finger Lakes girls teams still alive. We'll talk all about it over the next half hour. The Upstate Hoops podcast is brought to you by Generations Bank with locations in Auburn, Farmington, Geneva, Phelps, Seneca Falls, Union Springs, and Waterloo. Check out their mobile banking app and visit them online at mygenbank.com. And by Dr. Rod Littlejohn, over 30 years of smiles with style. And by Red's Place, the best lunches around or in downtown Seneca Falls. Check out their menu at men'shalloffame.com. Well, Verk, seems like just yesterday we were previewing the season, and now here we are getting ready for semi-final action.
Yeah, this is a big week. Obviously, Wayne Finger Lakes got a lot of teams left, obviously, on both sides, boys and girls. So, tomorrow night and Tuesday and Wednesday will be big nights for the area local hoops basketball teams with, a lot of teams looking to punch their ticket to the final.
So definitely a lot to talk about tonight because we're going to cover all the games. Let's bring into the show Ted Baker, voice of Finger Lakes News Radio. Ted, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. My voice is almost gone.
Well,
it's that time of year. Too many games in a row here.
You have been busy between the Hobart stuff and the high school stuff. Let's start off talking about the girls, Ted. Geneva, surprisingly upset this week.
Yeah, I only a little surprisingly. They just never quite seem to have what they had in years past this year. Like I said, I think I said this last week that I wouldn't be surprised if they made a deep run, but I wouldn't be surprised if they got knocked out early. They just never quite put it together to the extent that they have the past couple of years.
Yeah, but of course we anticipated that rematch with Wayne. Wayne's still alive, the 2 seed in A2, and they're going to be playing Pittsford Sutherland on Tuesday night at Penfield. And what do you think about the Eagles' chances?
I like that team. I mean, I did their game when Geneva beat them, and I mean, it was a close game, but that team's talented. They've got the scoring balance that I like. I always talk about that when we get deep into the playoffs. You look to the teams that have more than one or two scoring options where everybody can score. I think Wayne is a team like that. They play very strong defense, which you have to do when you get to this point. So I like their chances. I think they're a solid team.
And anticipating in Class B maybe a matchup between Mid Lakes and Palmac, but Wellsville upsets Palmac, so that means that the 7-seed Mid Lakes squad will play a 6-seed Wellsville team instead of that game with Palmac. So maybe a little good luck for the Eagles. What do you think about Mid Lakes' chances in Class B?
Yeah, well, they've got, Cece Cordero's a great player. Sydney Jones is terrific, and they were without her for a part of the season. She got a flu bug and missed a few games, so that's part of the reason why their seed might be a little bit lower. I know it seems like Wellsville is one of those just really tough teams that ends a lot of seasons of the teams around the Finger Lakes, so I think Mid Lakes has a decent shot in that game. I think that's going to be one of the better games this coming week.
And then the winner would go on to face Livonia or Aquinas, so it would be a difficult final if the Eagles were to advance. Now in C1, I thought I might have been looking at the boys bracket here, but you have number 1 seed East Rochester against Minders, the same semifinal matchup for the boys and the girls. And then on the other side, you have a number 2 seed Gananda against Byron Burgeon, and those games Tuesday at Marion High School, a place Gananda's familiar with playing for sure. And East Rochester. Do you think that maybe plays into East Rochester's favor in that matchup with Minders?
Yeah, I haven't seen them this year, and I don't know that much about them. I know that this Minders team is very good. I think if anybody's going to upset a number 1 seed, I think it's going to be Minders. They're just they have that tough test all through the season in the Finger Lakes East, and like the boys, both those Minders teams are very strong. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them knock off number 1.
Yeah, it seems it's that old FL East versus Wayne County maybe discussion. You know, the best team in Wayne County, would they beat the fourth best team in the East? Well, you know, we're going to get a look on Tuesday night. And Verk, you've seen a lot of the Minders girls this year. Do you think that they have what it takes to run through C1?
Yeah, I definitely do. You know, they've done it in years past. You know, we talked about it numerous times with, you know, winning 3-4 games in the league, and you know, they won a sectional title 2 years ago. Last year, making the finals with teams who weren't nearly as strong as this team is. You know, they're battle tested. They've played Geneva twice, Wayne twice. You know, all the Finger Lakes East teams that are tough teams. You know, Mid Lakes, Palmyra. You know, they've seen all kinds of different defenses. They've played a bunch of different defenses. You know, they're battle tested. They're not going to play a team that's more talented than Wayne or Geneva in their class. So I like their chances. You know, I'm not saying that they're just going to walk through there. Obviously, they had a tough game with Bloomfield this past Saturday. You know, from what I hear, it was a real battle, and a close game at halftime. We pulled away. But, you know, I like our chances.
And then in C2, more Wayne Finger Lakes teams. Number 1 seed Dundee still alive. They'll face the 4th seed Letchworth Tuesday at Honeoye Falls, Lima. Winner gets Calmum Geneseo. And, Ted, there's another team, you know, that battled with Romulus for the Finger Lakes West division that's still alive. And that Romulus Dundee at the top of that league are two really strong teams. And I'd say Dundee's a solid favorite in C2.
Yeah, I mean, they not only ended Romulus's 35-game win streak, but they did it by, I think it was 23 points. It was something like 58-35. Very dominant game. Romulus paid them back and got the win at the end to win the league. But we'll have both those Dundee games. The girls and the boys will be on WFLR 96.9, 101.9, and 1570 this week.
And then in Class C3, Lions still alive on the boys and girls side. They're the 5th seed, and they also benefited from an upset where the number 8 seed Keshequa beat the top seed Marion. So now they'll face Keshequa Wednesday at Canandaigua High School, and the winner gets Boulevard Richburg or Wheatland Chili. So the Lions girls are still alive. The second straight year they've gone a little deep into sectionals and see if they can finish it off. And then in Class D1, you have the number 1 seed Romulus Lady Warriors taking on number 4 seed Jasper Troupsburg. Tuesday at Dansville, winner gets either Elba or Arkport, and Ted is probably a pretty good bet on the Lady Warriors to win 2 more, wouldn't you say?
You got to think so. They've actually beaten Jasper Troupsburg in the playoffs the last 2 years in a row, pretty handily last year by 23 in a championship game, and I don't think anybody's got an inside duo like Romulus has. We did the game where they beat Avoca 59-29. They started a little bit slow in that game, but Zoe McDonald had 24 points, 20 rebounds. Sarah Keller had 17 points, 15 rebounds. And when all else fails, they can just pound the ball inside. They can score a lot of points. They can get to the line. So, you know, this will be third try for Jasper Troupsburg, but I got to think that they're going to get at least to the finals and probably beyond.
Yeah, Zoe McDonald is racking up the doubles, the 20-20.
Yeah.
I mean, which is really some rare air there when you're talking about the stats. So, Ted, where are you going to be this week? What games are you going to be calling on the radio or any of the stations affiliated with the Finger Lakes Radio Group?
Tomorrow night, we've got the Minders and East Rochester boys at Palmac. That's a 7 o'clock game. WFLR will have the Dundee boys and Calmum. That's the 8:15 game, second half of the doubleheader, right close to home or close to me here at Marcus Whitman. Tuesday night, K104.5 will have the Canandaigua boys and Pittsford Sutherland at Blue Cross Arena. I'll have Romulus girls, Jasper Troupsburg. That's the second half of the Dansville doubleheader, Tuesday night at 8 on WGVA. And then on Wednesday night, I'll be right next to you guys, Marcus Whitman boys and North Rose Wolcott at Waterloo. And then if the Romulus girls win, we'll have their game Friday at Letchworth, and then midweek we'll see who else is in the running and try to add some more games from there.
Gets busy this time of year, that's for sure. And we're going to Bloomfield tomorrow night. FO1 Sports will be there for that doubleheader, and trying to line that up. You find out Saturday morning that that's where the game's going to be, and then you try to coordinate everything to get there on Monday night, an hour away from our office, and But we're excited to be there and excited for all these games. So, Ted, I'm going to let you go now so you can maybe make yourself some hot tea, a little lemon in there, get that voice on ice maybe for while you can before the action picks
I'll
up
be
again.
All right. It was the back-to-back Saturday. I had the Hobart lacrosse game, a 1-goal win in Binghamton.
Yep.
And came back and did the hockey game at the Cooler. They beat Elmira in the ECAC West tournament. So, it's that time of year. You got to rest the voice and do the best you can.
All right, Ted. Well, thanks. We'll see you out there. We'll definitely see you on Wednesday night, and we'll be listening to you and all the action. I mean, that's a great thing is right now, if you're interested in how these brackets are playing out, you can follow it all live, whether it's on what we're doing or on the radio. Pretty much every game you can get in, you can pick up a feed. So have fun, Ted.
All right. Appreciate it. See you guys.
All right.
See you, Ted.
So there you go. Ted's a busy guy this week. And, we're going to be pretty busy here, too, at Finger Lakes 1. We decided we're going to go and to Bloomfield for the C3 doubleheader on Monday night with Naples taking on RCMCS, followed by Lions and Wheatland Chili. I'll call that game with Kevin Korzaneski. 6:15 is the first game, 8:15 is the second game. And then you heard that the Dundee game is going to be on WFLR. We're also going to be getting some live updates from the gym for both the Red Creek and Dundee games that we can share during our live broadcast from Bloomfield. And then, Verk, you and Mike Alessio are probably going to be – you going to that Minders game?
I believe so.
So we're going to get a live report from the Minders game during our broadcast in Bloomfield, too. So if you want to catch – an overview of everything that's going on that night, we're going to try to coordinate it all from Bloomfield, as we call those two Class C3 games. And then, as Ted mentioned, Wednesday night we're going to be in Waterloo for the Marcus Whitman North Rose Wolcott game in B2, semifinal game. That's just a single game. And then the only thing, there's a possibility we could go do the Newark semifinal game at the Blue Cross Arena, but it's not looking like that we're going to be able to pull that one together. So far it looks like Monday night, Wednesday night, and then we'll be back in the big house on Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to step aside right now for a 30-second break. And then when we come back, Verk, we'll cover all the semifinal matchups on the boys' side. Be right back.
Guidance and partnership through every step of the journey. Welcome to Generations Bank.
Good luck to all of our student athletes this high school sports season.
That we're covering. So we're going to hold off on that announcement till we figure out our schedule for the weekend. If there's no Wayne Finger Lakes teams involved on Sunday at the Blue Cross, which it's probably unlikely, but even if they have maybe an early game, we'll probably do our final episode of the year next week. If not, we may hold off for another week, and come back and do the final episode of the season. So, which is a good time to remind you to subscribe on YouTube. Click that red button below if you're watching us on YouTube to subscribe. We're also on iTunes. We're on Stitcher.com. We're online at podcast.fingerlakes1.com/Upstate Hoops. And you connect with us now, then you go have a great summer. High school basketball returns in November, and boom, we're right there for you. And you hardly even missed us. So, Verk, let's go kind of chronologically here. First of all, let's just quickly look at Class D1, where there's no Finger Lakes, Wayne Finger Lakes teams left. HAC beat Romulus in the first game, then loses to Jasper Troopsburg in the quarterfinals. So that's a wash in D1. Also some news out of Romulus. Kyle Collinsworth, the head coach, resigned. So who knows? I mean, Joe Peisnack, the JV coach, might be a good choice to step up. I heard he's put his hat in the ring for that job. I mean, it'd be a tall order for whoever gets the job.
Yeah, they've had a tough go of it here lately. And I think they, the combination with South Seneca didn't work out like they thought, and I don't think they've ever recovered from all that. But I know they're working hard over there, and hopefully they can get that turned around, get a couple wins here in the future.
Yep. So let's move ahead now to Class C3, where these are the games we're doing live GameCast style from Bloomfield, and a couple of great matchups. We've been talking all year about the potential of Naples facing Lions in the Blue Cross. Well, on Monday night, we're going to find out if it happens. We're going to need 2 wins. The Big Green Machine takes on 5th seed RCMCS, Rochester Career Mentoring Charter School. And I can't even find their mascot, Verk. Like, I've been looking on the internet, like, what their mascot is, because we're going to go do this game. We got to prepare the assets. Can't find their mascot. Or a roster, by the way, but I did get my hands on one. It just wasn't easy.
Yeah, I have no idea. I wasn't really too aware of these guys until recently, and they've been really playing well.
Amos Williams
almost only played 14 regular season games, and
haven't played in a while.
Yeah, they had 3 or 4 weeks off before sectionals, and they come out and put up 95 in their first game. So definitely that should be a great matchup from what people are saying, and I think a lot of people are almost leaning towards RCMCS winning that game.
I think so, and there's kind of a slight to Naples at 19-0, the number 1 seed. But, RCMCS is big, they're physical and talented, and Naples is going to have to play really well to beat them and advance to the C3 finals. So that's game 6-15. And, I do like their chances. I know that there's been a lot of talk about that, about maybe they're not as good a team even as the 5th seed. But I'll tell you, they play great team basketball. They got great outside shooters, and everybody that's on the court's kind of just a piece of a cog in the puzzle. They share the ball great, and I'm going to pick Naples to win that game, but it's going to be a tough game. They're going to have to get rebounds.
Yeah, and they played and beat Early College, who's the 2 seed in C1, who's had a good year, and similar type city team, very athletic. So they've seen that kind of pressure and quickness before, and they handled it. And so I think that that's got to be a confidence booster for them coming into this game.
Then in the bottom half of that bracket, you have the 2 seed Lions against number 3 Wheatland Chili Wildcats. Wheatland Chili comes in at 16-4. They feature a pair of brothers, Robertson.
I forget their names.
But there's 3 of them. They're all very, very good, and that's going to be a stiff test for Zach Young's Lions. And Zach has told us since the beginning of the season, he's kind of had his eye on Wheatland Chili as a team they might potentially face. He's a little concerned, obviously, but at this point in the season, I think you're going to be concerned with anybody.
Sure.
We just saw Lions play great on Friday night against Cuba Rushford, where Damon Hunter, 31 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists to lead his team to victory in the quarterfinal round. And that game actually, which a lot of people might not realize, we call these sectional games. We can't show the game live, just radio-style broadcast, and we put some stats up on the screen, some other shots of the arena, but no live action. But the next day, we did post the video from that game and paired it with the commentary, and you can watch that now on YouTube. So
that should be a great matchup. I think both teams are fairly athletic. In Wheatland Chili is a team that's kind of been knocking on the door the last couple of years trying to get that sectional title. They suffered some tough losses. Clyde beat them a couple of years ago. So they'll be. I think both teams are pretty well battle tested. Both played a pretty decent schedule, so that should be a great game.
Yeah, and we'll see what Damon Hunter does. I tell you, that kid seems like he's on a mission right now. And Lions has PA back in full, and Nick Fair is a guy who on Friday night just played great. You can put him against bigger guys. He plays great defense and holds his own on the board. Finishes strong around the rim. Lions is playing some really good basketball right now, and so if they put together another good game, I think they'll advance, and we'll see them in the Blue Cross as well. Let's move up ahead to Class C2. And we saw Clyde Savannah lose this week in a game they played without head coach Tim Jackson, who was suspended for a game. And now that'll be for the rest of the season because they're done. Dundee beat Red Jacket and then went on to beat Kendall. So they get the right to play number 1 seed Caledonia Mumford, 19-1, at Marcus Whitman next week. And that's part of a doubleheader as well, with number 2 Red Creek and number 6 Geneseo playing first at 6:15. So let's start with that Dundee Cal Mum. This, generally speaking, is where you say, okay, this is the end of the ride for Dundee going against a strong Cal Mum team. But not unlike Naples, they have a lot of pieces. They share the ball. You look at their scores and you'll see 4 or 5 different names every game. And so, Les Miller's got the Scots playing some good basketball right now too, coming in at 17-3.
Yeah, they don't have that one guy who's getting you 25 a night, but they got 3, 4, 5 guys who are scoring between 8 and 17 points every game. So you can't, it's tough to defend a team like that. They got good height. They're pretty athletic. In Cal Mum's, they're well coached. They're we were talking about Wheatland Chile. Cal Mum had beat Wheatland Chile earlier this year. Cal Mum's, Dundee's going to have their hands full, but I think that's going to be a good game.
And then you talk about a team or a man on a mission. You got Jake Slobe and his Red Creek Rams going up against Geneseo. And Red Creek pulverized Perry. I thought Perry might give him some trouble. They beat him handily. And Perry was a 7th seed. Now they're playing the 6th seed Geneseo, 15-6 team. And I like to think that Red Creek will roll through this one into the Blue Cross, setting up another potential Class C final that could include 2 Finger Lakes teams, or Wayne Finger Lakes teams. But, and it's not just Jake Slobe. The Klein brothers for Red Creek, Willie Meyer, DeRocher. Jamie Grinshaw's got a great team. They won their first ever Wayne County title in school history. And I'm sure they'd like to cap that off with a sectional title, which, Verk, I don't know about this, but I imagine that might be maybe their first basketball sectional title in school history, too? Or
yeah, that I know of. I don't remember in all the years I've been following high school basketball in this area them ever win a sectional title.
So you don't want to see the dream season end for Red Creek. You don't want to see the careers of guys like Jake Slobe or Isaiah Tilley or Damon Hunter end, but that's what's on the line this time of year. Every game could be the last. And let's jump ahead now to C1, where we have Gananda, kind of surprisingly, at 6th seed, still alive against Early College. They beat Avon the other night. Early College beat Sodus, or we would have had an all Wayne Finger Lakes Final Four here in C1, because at the top of the bracket you have Minders against East Rochester. Minders at 16-4, called up Jake Mean from the JV team. He's now been playing an integral part, and Nick Ciotti's bunch is playing as good as anyone. And now they got to get by an East Rochester team, a 12-9 East Rochester team that came in 5th in Wayne County. And that game's at Palmac High School at 7 o'clock. The Gananda game's at Wayne High School at 7 o'clock. So this is the only C game that's not a doubleheader. And, Verk, you're going to be there. What does Miner need to do to beat East Rochester?
I just think play their game. Miners have been a team who, they had a great year, but at times they've tended to play down to the competition a little bit. But outside of the 2 Newark games, they were right there every game of the year. Had some big wins over Palmyra, Penyan, Waterloo twice. I think I like Miners to win this game. East Rochester, they're pretty well coached. They play a lot of zone. Miners are going to have to knock down some threes, obviously, which they're very capable of. I think that might play in the Miners' hands a little bit. But, I like this Miners team. We're big. Like you said, with Maine and Cafola and Ruddy and all those guys we got inside, they've really been doing a nice job on the boards, which helps everything else. So I like Miners' chances in that game. And, on the other side, you got Early College and Gananda. And, Early College is kind of, the city school that they played a decent schedule, not a great schedule, so we'll see. Gananda's they beat Minders last year in sectionals, so they've been in some big games before, so should be a good game there too.
Yeah, and I think as you look through here, you got RCMCS and Early College. They're kind of spoilers, at least out in our neck of the woods. Those aren't teams that you're hoping win. These charter schools are kind of new, not much history to it. So potential Minders Early College final in the Blue Cross would be a pretty even matchup, good game. Rooting for Gananda, the Blue Panthers, to beat Early College, then we'd have either a Minders Gananda final or an ER Gananda all Wayne County final. And actually, it might be a good time, Jared, for our producer to pull up that chart of remaining Wayne Finger Lakes teams and just get a look at this. It's really, Wayne County's been very impressive in the in sectionals so far. I think they're 8-4 so far. With right now they have Gananda, Lyons, Red Creek, East Rochester, and North Rose Wolcott still alive, more than any other of the leagues. Then in the East, Finger Lakes East has Newark, Pelmac, and Minders still alive. Just 3 teams. Although, A2 and B1's tough. So Minders might be carrying the flagship for the FL East. We'll talk about the A and B classes here in a second. Then in the West, Marcus Whitman, Dundee, and Naples. Really, those have been the big 3 at the top of that league, and they're still representing that. In B2 there, you're going to have Marcus Whitman playing North Rose Wolcott. So you get a look at that chart of all the teams whose seasons have ended and the teams that are still alive. 11 Wayne Finger Lakes teams still going. So let's kick it ahead now and look at Tuesday night, where you're going to have A1 semifinals, B1 semifinals, and A2, one half of the A2, Newark's half. And then we'll start. A1, you're looking at number 1 Greece Athena versus number 5 Wilson Magnet at the Blue Cross, and then number 2 Canandaigua at number 2 Pittsford Sutherland. So Canandaigua, that's also at the Blue Cross. Canandaigua, put together a great season at 16-3 and looking for a rare sectional title in A1.
Yeah, they've had their best season that I can remember them having in a long time, which is nice to see. They, since going over to Monroe County years ago, the basketball program's kind of struggled. But, put together a great year, and, they have a chance to get to the finals. Unfortunately, Greece Athena's there. And I think Greece Athena's a lock to win this, even though they're playing without one of their better players got hurt. Jay Sarkis is out for the year.
Yep.
He's a 4-year starter, I believe. So, but Athena won AA last year, and they dropped down to A1 this year.
They're undefeated.
And they're rolling.
Yeah, one of the only undefeated teams along with Naples. Aquinas also undefeated still at this point in the season. So at the bottom of that Tuesday slate, we have B1, where Pelmac's still alive. They got number 1 Leadership Academy, another charter school out of Rochester. That game's at Pittsford Sutherland, 7 o'clock. And then you also have number 2 Livonia versus number 3 Hornell. And Waterloo hung with Hornell in the quarterfinal game until the second half. Jamin Mateo made a 3-quarter court shot to beat the buzzer, I think, at the end of the first quarter. And but in the end, Hornell too strong. Livonia, a very good team. Palmyra's got their work cut out for him here, Verk.
Yeah, Leadership, they're the defending champion here, and they got a lot of those guys back. Devontae Higgins, some, all-greater Rochester-type guys. And, yeah, Palmac's going to have to play. They're capable. They can, if they get hot from the 3, sticking around in that game, but I just think Leadership's a little bit too big and athletic for them.
Yeah, and, Palmac's playing great basketball now. Damian Wright and company there. Big Ben Bracey. So we're pulling for the Red Raiders. Hopefully see them in the Blue Cross this weekend. Now that A2 game against Newark also going on Tuesday night, but don't want to talk about that one just yet. Want to go over to B2 on Wednesday night. You have Wellsville against Dansville at Letchworth High School at 7:45, and then the other half of B2 is all Wayne Finger Lakes matchup. 2 seed North Rose Wolcott against number 3 seed Marcus Whitman at Waterloo, 7 o'clock. And we'll be there to bring you that game live. And it's a great matchup. I think on paper you're thinking North Rose Wolcott, but, this is a perfect matchup. If they had a Wayne County Finger Lakes West Challenge, I think these would be the 2 teams that would be paired up against each other. So really a game, not that they're too much caring about league bragging rights at this point. They just want to advance to the finals in the Blue Cross. But, a couple of good teams, Verk. Who do you like in this one?
I haven't seen either team play this year between Whitman and Wolcott. I think Wolcott's played a little bit better of a schedule, maybe.
Yeah.
But, Whitman beat Waterloo earlier, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't they end up winning that tournament?
They won the tournament in Waterloo, beat Greece Odyssey.
I think that's just wide open. I think that whole bracket really, Mid-Lakes played Wellsville and hung with them. If you look at that box score, it was a tight game going into the fourth. So, I think any of those teams can win that class.
Yeah, I guess it is up for grabs. North Rose Wolcott has a great point guard and sophomore Tyler Norris, and they're similar, I think, a little bit to Dundee and Naples in the fact that there's just a lot of guys that can hurt you, and they share it pretty good. So that'll be a great game. Looking forward to Wednesday night in Waterloo. And so now let's look at Class A2. Tuesday night, you have Newark versus School of the Arts. Wednesday night, you have Batavia against College Prep. And these are all the top 4 seeds made it. 2 Newark against 3 Soda. 1 Batavia versus 4 College Prep. And at the Blue Cross. And Newark had to play great to survive a tough U Prep team on Saturday night. They were down by 1 at the half. They come back, win the game. Shamar Logans has 18 points to lead the Reds. Tyler Collins had some key steals late. And Bob Avrilla's team is primed to make a run. I feel like these guys are kind of a team on a mission. I was a little scared over that UPrep game going into it, but Verk, they pulled it out at home, and now they get a School of the Arts team that probably is a weak 18-2. They're both 18-2. School of the Art really padded their schedule, I think, this year.
Yeah, they're a team. School of Arts, they're good, but UPrep might have been a bigger challenge actually for Newark.
Right.
And Newark got them on their home court, and they eked that one out. It was close the whole way, and I think there's a big relief there. And I like Newark's chances against Soda, and for set up a rematch with Batavia. I think Newark's going to have their hands full with the Batavia team with Jeff Redband and those guys. But I like Newark's chances to get to the final.
I'd love to see that game. Of course, Batavia. Albatross for Newark the last 2 years, knocking them out of the playoffs. Now, last year, Newark probably that was the time they could have beat them in the semifinals. And Batavia, with an upset there, goes on to lose to Geneva, which I think was 1 year ago tonight that they lost. The Geneva won that sectional title under Brian Miller. And I'd love to see that rematch. I'd love to see Newark, Batavia, Sunday at the Blue Cross. So, hold on to your hats and we'll find out. We'll find out Tuesday if Newark makes it, and then on Wednesday who wins that Batavia College Prep game. So it's coming right down to it, Verk. Also on Wednesday in AA, you got number 1 Aquinas versus number 5 seed Irondequoit, and then number 7 Bishop Kearney with a nice win the other night, a little upset. I can't remember who they played, but
they beat Rush.
Yeah, that's right.
Sets up a rematch. Fairport actually beat Kearney this year. They played a nice out of conference game there, and Kearney's just another team. They're tough to tell. They play a lot of out of section teams. So, but I think Fairport's got to like their chances given that they beat them earlier in the year. So, I like Fairport and Aquinas to meet in the final.
Yeah, it's a great looking Final Four in AA. So, hey. Get a chance to get up to the Blue Cross this weekend or get out to any of these games, I highly recommend it. It's the level of competition at this point. You got all good teams. You got all teams playing for their lives. You got kids playing for their careers. And, for a lot of these kids, they're not going to put on a basketball uniform and be part of a team again. Very few players going to play at the next level. And so other than that, you're looking at rec leagues and intramurals and that type of stuff. So this is really, to me, it's very engaging to see these kids play with that on the line. And maybe a lot of them don't realize it, You're so young, You got their whole life. But in terms of playing organized basketball as part of a team, this is it for a lot of these kids.
And it's a chance to win that sectional title and, hang a banner up on the wall, and you're kind of engraved in that school forever, with your name hanging on the wall, which is a nice feeling. It's a nice, the community takes big pride in these kind of things, and it's always nice. Obviously, Minder's been successful here over the last 20 years and been able to win a bunch of sectional championship in boys and girls, and it's a great feeling for the town. The town usually rallies behind these teams, and it's a great time of the year.
So like I say, get out there in the gymnasium, get to the Blue Cross, low ticket price, and great amenities, good concessions, and now you can always find a great seat. It's a great atmosphere in the Blue Cross, and I can't wait to find out who we're going to be seeing in the Blue Cross so we can set our schedule. It looks like we're going to get a few teams from C in, and so Saturday from I think the game times are 10 a.m., noon, and 2. So there's a good chance that we might be doing a triple header from the Blue Cross, which would be a lot of fun. And then we got to see about Newark and Pelmac. Now either North Rose Wolcott or Marcus Whitman is going to the Blue Cross out of B2. So it's going to be fun to get that schedule set and see what's going on. Now I'd highly recommend tomorrow night you tune into our live game cast from Bloomfield, because we're going to try to keep you abreast of all the action and Big Monday semifinal action across all the C classes, and a couple of great games, really intriguing games. Naples RCMCS, and then Lions Wheatland Chili, Damon Hunter, Isaiah Tilley, a couple of seniors for each team potentially playing their last game, not wanting it to be their last game, trying to get to the Blue Cross. So we hope you join us there, and then we hope you join us also on Wednesday night. And this is it, Verk.
Yeah, it's a big week here, and next time we meet, if we get together again, we're going to know who the sectional champions are. So a lot going on this week, and should be a fun, exciting week.
So good luck to everybody still in action out there on the boys and girls side of things in their quest for a sectional title. Stay tuned on Finger Lakes 1 to see when the Upstate Hoops podcast will be back for our season finale. If it's not next Sunday night, it may be the following Sunday night. It may be a totally different time altogether. But we'll have one more episode for you. Good chance it will be Sunday at 9, but stay tuned for that. And thanks for joining us for the Upstate Hoops podcast on FingerLakes1.tv. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher.com. And can't wait to see who gets crowned sectional champions. So good luck this week to all the Wayne Finger Lakes teams.